What was that question? So here's the question. This is from Nancy. Good morning. I tried to read this yesterday, but I had a hard time following it here. Good morning. For a few days, I follow your channel. I am new to trading, so I got several doubts. I'm interested in the Rockbot. Questions is the following. Once it is acquired, is it left automated so that it could only go small operations according to sign? Don't let me decipher that. That it can only do small operations according to the signals. I want to say according to the signals or their algorithms. The inputs that this automated Rockbot has in which percentages are successful. How much could you have profited? Understand that this is according to how the market moves and especially the percentage of loyalty of success in that operation. Days will be less days, more and more appropriate. However, the profit or the points more or less payment is made in a single or in monthly. All right. A lot of information, a lot of stuff to go over. Let's just talk about the original Rockbot and what the concept is behind it. This is it right now. It's active, and it's a script that when we trade, when I trade, I'm searching out certain patterns in the market to trade. I know those are what we call high probability patterns because they move. They have a high probability of moving in the direction of divergence over time and experience in this market and knowing certain things about the market. We see these moves happen. So if you see something and you recognize it, it's a very easy here, like right here in front of you. Actually, I'm surprised. Oh, it did took a long here. So there was a divergence right here. You can see this was a higher low and a lower low, and this was that big divergence actually. And moved up, took profits, trailing stop, and then we had another long here. And anyway, the object was to, because of what I do with the show and stuff, and I'm so consumed with looking at all different stocks. We look at them fast. We're not studying everything. We might be missing something, but the important thing is watching these markets and being able to trade the futures when you have a setup, because that's really the good money making events. It might be 2 times a day, it might be 4 times a day, but I want to be able to not look back and say, oh, there was a divergence. I just missed that. I should have been paying attention, but I'm not. I'm maybe reading an email. So I started building this out to kind of see if it alerted me to the divergences, and started, I've been working on it for over a year, 2 years now, refining it and stuff, and got to a point where it was working really well, and then I released it to lifetime members. But I go out and I always say this was something that I wanted to, in my own, as a trader in my own mind, I'm thinking, and some people could do this, I can't do this, but in a perfect world, I would love to be able to do this, is have a laptop next to me, and in the middle of the night, 3:30 in the morning, when the European markets open up and you have this volatility come into the market and you see these great divergences and you look back at them. If I look back at them throughout the evening, I could just point out, wow, what a great, these are great opportunities. A nice divergence right here at 12 o'clock, and it moved up, and it takes profits on the way up. So in a perfect world, I could set an alarm and I could have it text me and say, all right, if I wanted to have it text me at 3:30 saying there's a 5-minute divergence setting up, and then I'll open up my laptop, I'll take a look at it, and it might be a great trade. It's where you make your money, are these setups. I mean, look at these. You watch it all the time, and we talk about it. This is 8:10, nice pullback, divergence call. It runs up, it takes profits, but not every situation is going to be equal, in a nice calm market, and a nice, that's the wild card. The wild card is to put this thing automatic. I don't put it on automatic unless I'm here with it, or I have it adjusted with the parameters that I don't get run over too bad if I want to test it, because you just don't know what type of news is coming out. The algorithms out there are competing with your algorithm. and what might be a divergence, and you might have orders being placed in. Right when these things enter, automatically they're placing stop orders and they're placing profit orders. Now your orders are seen by other machines. And does that give you a disadvantage? So lots of times you will see a perfect setup, and then all of a sudden the market will come back just enough to take it out and then move right back up. So there's something to be said about stops and stuff. But that's the that I'm just looking at the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything here. That's the tricky part here. Do you want to have it running? Because you have to deal with that. I feel like you can run it full time, but you have to be, just like you're in a plane. You're not just setting the plane up without a pilot and hoping it lands correctly. I would put it on, autopilot if I was sitting here at my desk and, I'm working and all of a sudden it triggered me in, and I'll take a look at it. I'll realize what the market's doing. I'm part of the markets, but it's getting me in faster than me analyzing the trade and looking at the divergence and then taking it, because I'm usually looking for that confirmation. This is automatically giving me the confirmation, and 9 times out of 10 I'm already moving in the direction of my trade. So this is giving me great entries. The Rockbot is giving me much better entries than I would normally. So that's another reason to run it at auto. But I would also adjust the stops. These parameters are all able to be put in. Your initial stop, your trailing stop, your profit, your first target, your second target, and how you want to trail. So these parameters are all there. The script is going to tell you where the trade is. So again, that depends how much you want to give it. You want to give it a big trailing stop, you're going to get a bigger returns when you do your back testing and stuff. If you have a tighter trailing stop, you're not going to get as many, So you got to think of these things. There's always a moving parts there. I like it this way. Identifying the divergence, giving you that perfect candlestick, giving you the opportunity to get into a trade just like this, get you in, and then adjust the targets and stuff depending on what the market. Maybe you want to ride this up a little. You can move this.
Order filled.
I can move this up. I can move this up. Now that it's automatic, it's gonna follow back. Now you see it moved up by itself. It's actually following this trade up, and it takes profit, and then it just continues to move up here, and then it has 3 more contracts. So I like running this thing automated, but I like to be here and making sure there's not riots going on, or a news conference, or breaking news that or chops us up. Lots of times you'll see the big candle come in, and then it'll come back down, and the stop will be put in maybe 8 ticks, but the candle's could be 5-7 points candle, and those 8 ticks doesn't really give you much of a chance of a pullback, and all of a sudden you're getting stopped out in a big candle. But you really want to give the divergence a chance. So so this is exactly how it should work.
Order filled.
And then it takes out orders again. Then it has a trailing stop here, and there's 1 contract left in the policy. And you could adjust all these. This is all adjustable. When you go to your and if you go to the back here, this is your control panel, and these are all the scripts that are running for the day. So it kind of keeps track of your gains and losses. So here's the 1 minute buy divergence, and these are all trading the MES and Bitcoin. I actually have this. Bitcoin's up $212 right now. The 1 minute SS MES here, and these are trading 5 contracts of the MES, up $292 from this morning. The 5 minute divergence here is down 75. The 1 minute short divergence is up 57. The super signal is up $25. It took profits, but then it got taken out, and then this 5 minute short is only up $12.50. But overall, and then they'll tell you which ones are currently in a trade. I know the Bitcoin one is in a trade, and that has a big range to it. But if I would to, let's take a look at the, I just lost my power. There it is. When you look at the, let's see here. Let's just look at the 1 minute short. I want to leave this on so it's continue to be active. But let's bring over another one. I think there's a murder hornet in here. I want to bring this. Oh, this was the Thunderbird 1 minute short. Now I'm just going to open this up. The strategy. It doesn't have it. It's not in a trade. I hear that big. I put the windows open today in the office, and whenever I do that, big bees come in here. All right, so I'm going to apply that, and now I have these are my parameters. So how many contracts, what my lot are, how many shares I'm going to take if I'm going to be trading a stock. That's where that would go under lot. Now the next version of this, these will also be called shares also, and you can trade stocks with this. You can trade, as long as you just do the calculation in your head and understand lots is contracts, but it would also mean shares. Ticks are set up as ticks, but if you're trading stocks, 1 tick is 1 penny, so it would be 100 would represent a point. Oh my God, this got to be a big hornet in here somewhere. This thing is flying around. Why did I open the window? He's big. You can hear the vibration of his wings. You guys hear him? He's big. It's definitely a murder hornet. Sorry, this is being recorded. My attack. So we want to adjust these. These are where you're going to adjust, and depending on, how the market conditions are. Not every day you're going to get, 4 or 5 point moves. I used to trade this market. You'd be dying to get a point, 2 points on a trade. That's 4 ticks, 4 to 8 ticks. Now I'm starting off with 8 ticks and going all the way up sometimes to 30 ticks. It's just the volatility's there. So you have to always manage this. Every day you take out the plane, you take out your thing, you adjust it to fly into certain conditions that you're trading in. So, to take profits, you want to take profits quickly. Maybe you just want to, maybe you feel it's a strong market. So you don't want to really risk the short. So the short side, if this is short script, maybe you want to take profits fast on the short side. The market's been rallying and it's not giving you as much of a profit on the downside. The market continues to rip higher. The signals come in, they pull back a little, but then they go and take out the highs again. So you adjust that. You have to say, all right, this is a strong market. If I want to run a short bought in it, I want to take my profits earlier. So my first profit might not be 8 ticks. It might be 6 ticks or 4 ticks. And then how many contracts do I want to take off? I'll just leave it 2. But you could do whatever you want. This could be 10. This could be 5. You could be 1. You could adjust all this. The second, say we're having 5, and I've taken it off at 4. Now I could leave this at 16. I could make it really wide. Really, you can make it there and just follow it up with a trailing stop. So, I did make that one pretty big. So make it like 30. And you take 2 off. And then your stop loss, your initial stop loss, how do you want to have that? You want to have it tight. Do you want to give it some more room? The divergence are usually good. But you have to compensate for the volatility in the market. So the markets are giving you big candles. You want your stop loss pretty much to be able to take out the previous high. But again, these are all going to put these in automated and place these orders. And that's the key. And then after that, you want to adjust this trailing stop or the stop loss to be 1 tick below or above the low candle or high candle in that divergence. So this is automatically putting your stop in, but you want to adjust that. You want to adjust that initial stop loss.
Order filled.
And what else here? the take profit second, stop loss, trailing stop again. How when do you want the trailing stop to start? In this case, I like to always have that trailing start after the first profit is being taken out. So in this case, it would be 4. So after 4 ticks, profits are being taken, and the trailing stop is starting. And I like to put that at 4. Also means it starts at that 4 ticks underneath where the price is. So it basically is break even. So you're not going to lose any money. You're playing with house money now. You're already taking profits, and you move this. So whatever your first profit is, you take profit. How many ticks this is? These two to have a trailing stop should all be the same. These two start ticks and stop ticks. And then lot. Don't do anything with the trailing step. So that's that's when you get a question like, well, what's the results? Well, each result's going to be different for each trade and what side of the market you're trading at. You're going to have better results trading, a buy side divergence in a bullish market versus, stuff like that. I wouldn't. Did I reactivate this? I would not run. I would run this. I've run this overnight using just a few MESs. That's fine, and it usually does pretty good. And maybe I'll do that tonight. I'll keep it here. I run it with my IB, and what happens is my IB times out at 12 o'clock and always turns off. But I think I could change that in the IB thing. IB. I'm gonna apply that. Let's see. So I'm gonna put this back over on the bot channel. Oh, that's the 1 minute MES divergence here. That's this over here. Wow, look at that. Isn't that nice though? Look at that. Boom. The profits all the way up. So that's why I, want to continue to run this, but stress, like anything else, I would. There's other parts of the market, and then, there's a lot of other bots out there, a lot of algorithms that are sniffing out stops and stuff. You got to be nimble in this market. It's great to have an edge identifying the trades for you and letting it take the trades. And again, if you feel comfortable letting it run, you can do that. But understand there's dangers with that. That there's definitely a higher risk that comes along with that. This is on the MES today, just on the 1 minute. 5 MESs is trading. It's up $361. That's pretty damn good. I hear that B again. I might have to go to war here.